Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another review, and today I'll be taking a look at the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legion's Arethyr wave, Varthogg. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty guys, as I said before, today we are taking a look at Varthogg. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments section below. That's what it's for, to correct people, not just acknowledge the fact they did a good video or anything. Not that I've had that experience recently, I'm just saying some of y'all can be quite snobbish, but at least not on my channel. So there is that. But yeah, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because I gotta tell you, if the Four Horsemen are good at one thing other than making a kick-ass action figure line, it's coming up with some weird-ass names, man. I'm just saying. But, of course, this guy is part of the Mythic Legion's Arethyr wave, brought to you by aforementioned fine folks over at the Four Horsemen Studios. And yeah, so like the other reviews we've been doing of this wave, we're going to be taking a look at accessories first. Now, disclaimer, he does come with alternate hands and feet, but those are currently in use by this fella right here. Yeah, I kind of souped up my bog goblin a bit. I gave him the bare feet and the bare hands that this guy came with, so he's a little bit closer to the Hellfire Goblin. Yeah, the greens aren't perfect, but I don't care. I think it looks awesome. And he's using the Hellfire Goblin's kind of staff, spear, blade thingy. So, there's that. I think it looks cool. If you don't, well then, you make your own custom, smart guy. Here is the alternate head, though. It has a helmet, which you could essentially just make a completely different character out of this guy if you really wanted to. If you bought two of these, you have enough parts to make a different enough character to have a couple of dudes flanking him. I don't have space or money to do that, otherwise I'd buy 3 of almost every figure, and that would be a problem. He also has this awesome blade shield, which I still say looks like the Four Horsemen logo, ever so slightly. Does have a handle on the back. I don't really intend on using this. I'm not sure. I thought about it, but my bog goblin needs that hand to hold that spear, so he might not be using this, and if he does, it'll be in his left hand. Excuse me. I had to clear my throat in all these videos, jeez. He also comes with a sword, which we will talk about this. Very clever, or cleverly implemented, I should say, sword storage system this guy's got going on in just a moment. But it's a really gnarly looking sword. It's a pretty thick old sword. I think Varthogg came with this. Varthogg the Destroyer from All-Stars. He's got this big old smack him over the head mallet too, which has the back end that comes out, but you never get any interchangeable parts with these, so that's kind of whatever. I think I only have one with like the curved kind of spike on the back, but that goes to Gonks, I believe. I think I have it with Archimedes, though. Either way, comes with a big old warhammer, because why not? But getting into the figure, of course, he also comes with the back adapters and the strap, which is around his waist for a reason. And he also has this fuzzy crotch towel, done by the fine folks at CGISM, or the one guy who works at CGISM. He's been working with the Horsemen a lot lately to better implement soft goods, and we're going to see a lot more of that in the Arethyr wave, but it's nice to see a little of it here. Who is it? Cassia was kind of the debut of that. Kind of wish the Lord Dragul and Darina figures had a little bit better soft goods, now that I think about it, since they've been working with him for a while. But look at this guy, man. He's armored to the teeth. He's got spikes. He's got a new torso, which I didn't mention this in the Hellfire Goblin video, but he does have a new torso. I kind of glossed over that. My apologies. But he does have the old school kind of evil knight gauntlets and boots, and I like the armored feet on mine. And then he's also got a new belt piece, which was also used on Magnus, who we'll be looking at later today. Like I said, we're doing 2 videos a day with this wave because, well, Mythic Legions do good for the channel. I want to get them up as soon as possible. And they're about 12 hours apart, so that's still close to like 1 a day. It's technically 2, but they're spread out. Come on. Look at this head sculpt. I mean, I love the... where did I put it here? I love this. This is awesome. This is pretty tough, but this guy looks like kind of an older, like a veteran, kind of. And that's awesome. No gorget with this guy either. He just has the straight up bearded head in the package. Excuse me. Jeez. But it's essentially the bald orc head with a beard on it. And that's awesome. Especially if you have a beard, you can relate to this guy. But as I was saying with that sword, you can easily take this, and because of how they've implemented the spikes in the armor now, you can clip it into here. Now granted, it's going to be loose because it's not in the belt yet, but look at that. It sits flush on the back and covers the port. I love that. I wish it was maybe a little bit higher, but that's me being nitpicky. Idealistically, you'd want it like here, so he could easily draw it. I mean, he's not going to easily draw it with it clipped in his armor like that, but it definitely helps it stay on his back. And I greatly appreciate that. And the shoulder pads get quite a bit of range, too. You can hinge them up and kind of flare them out a bit. Make them look a little buffer, maybe. That looks pretty good. But I just leave them down. They do flex out a little bit too. But articulation on this guy, he's got a swivel. And well, they all have a swivel at the neck, but this guy's swivel's primarily in the neck. And then he's got the ball in the head, but it is kind of stiff. So mine's swivel mostly comes from the neck. I think I popped the head off once or twice though. Shoulders move forward and back. Kind of loose on mine. I don't know why that is. It's like they're slipping out. Kind of like the... Athon, his head sits in there, but it's not tight, so I might need to use a little bit of some kind of adhesive to strengthen that up a bit, because it is quite loose. Maybe I'll just need to pop the shoulder pads off, pop the arms out, pop them back in, I don't know. But it does that more so on this side than it does on this side, especially when he's holding that big mallet, so yeah. But the arms do move out as well. You get a single joint at the elbow that rotates. He's got a swivel at the gauntlet, swivel at the wrist, as well as a hinge. Which again, the open hands don't get as much range as the closed hands, but I think you do get enough. Especially compared to the gauntlets, which got a little to none most of the time. He's got a diaphragm joint that works fine. I will say I did have to pop this apart to get this fur piece on, and I think I have it on correctly. Let me know if I don't in the comments below, but I think that's how it's supposed to be connected. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't think it goes on his neck to give him a brown beard extension, but I could be wrong, you know. Wouldn't be the first time. The hips kick forward and back, out and back in. Like I said, he's got a new belt piece. Kind of cooperates with you. Kind of like this new belt piece, just a little bit more than some of the other ones. It's a little bit more unique. It's got a big old belt buckle with a face on it. I think there's a face on there. But, yeah, that's cool. He's got a thigh cut, single joint at the knee, swivel at the knee, swivel at the foot, which can be easier said than done to move sometimes. There we go. And then a hinge with a rocker and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So, yeah, awesome figure. I love this guy. He is, I think, one of the best orcs they've ever done. He is just glorious. He's like a war chief. or a chieftain type character. Not as high up as maybe Urzac or Urksa, but I think he definitely has some authority, if that. But with that being said, I think it's now time we took a look at some size comparisons. Taking a look at some size comparisons, here's Varthogg next to a couple other figures from the Arethyr wave. We got Magnus, review of him coming later today, as well as the mighty Belphegor, review of him went up the other day, so please check that out if you haven't already. Up next here he is next to a couple other evil commandos from Mythos. We have Baron Volgar, with a different style head this time around, and Malias, both of which are from the previous All-Stars wave. All-Stars 3, I believe. Reviews of those went up quite a while ago now. And last but certainly not least, got our two regulars, Brother Mandibulus from Advent of Decay, and the Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn. So with that being said, time to wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and for being my first green orc, that's right, I didn't have any green orcs before this guy. I missed out on all of them. Or they got snatched from my cart during an in-stock sale. But I will say this is a fantastic figure. I love the new parts here. I will say there is some looseness in the shoulders and the neck on this guy. Not sure what's up with that. I didn't really notice it on any of the other figures in this wave. And it's mostly on this body with these parts, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's a fluke, but I'm sure I could fix that with some adhesive of some kind. No big deal there. But I will say he does have lots of new parts for those of you into the customizing aspect, and I think maybe some parts I could use to create my custom blade killer I talked about in the Belphegor review. Shoulder pads with spikes on them. I'm looking at you. And also, I will say, they tweaked the ability to stash a sword on the back while the figure has some shoulder pads on, which I greatly appreciate. Quite a nifty little clip system they got, utilizing the spikes and the gap between the shoulder pads. I very much appreciate that, because for the longest time, I don't know about you guys, but getting a sword on one of these guys' backs is really difficult. And the belts just aren't, I guess, wide enough to stretch out to where the sword rests naturally on the shoulder pads. So they always look kind of funny and kind of off. But this guy fixes that tenfold. And I am super stoked to finally have a figure where I could store the sword on his back. That's wonderful. Almost brings a tear to your eye, but not really. That, and you also got a lot of customizing options with this guy. As I said, you can make literally 2 different figures with this guy. He's got 2 sets of feet, 2 sets of hands, and an alternate head. Suck on that, Marvel Legends. So, with that being said, he's also got that big-ass hammer, which is always a plus. And the blade shield, which again is always a plus. But I think I'm just going to display him with this hammer, because, quite honest, you're not going to F with this dude, are you? But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. So hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions for live unboxing videos, which I do post to IGTV in case you miss them. You can watch them in their full train wrecked glory. And as always, don't forget to hit up the Mythic Legions Cabal over on the Facebooks for a rockin' time talking about Legions, posting pictures of Legions, posting occasional sales of Legions, and posting Legions customs. Lots of cool people over there. But again, keep the drama to a minimum, because nobody wants to see a bunch of negativity, do they? If you do, I'm sorry, but you got problems. And as always, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of this figure, if you want this figure, if you missed out on this figure, if you're jonesing to get this figure, or if you're going to pass on this figure at your own peril, I might add. But, as I always say, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is. And until next time, I will catch you guys later.